this morning. Our first story is from the Vanguard newspaper, and this one says vehicles seizure, PDP lawmakers allege persecution of autumn by Governor Aliyah. I stole to survive, says Ondo pastor. 17-year-old girl lures man from Lagos to Osun, robs him of 1.5 million naira. Subsidy removal, I'm coming with palliatives to put smiles on Nigerians, Tinubu. Some more stories from the Vanguard says court sends two pickers to jail over money laundering in Benin. And ECPA's threat, we have no business with those who prefer to sit at home, Anambra Commissioner of Police. And some more stories will yet to be promoted after IGP's order. Traffic wardens cry out. Tinubu meets AG EFCC, that's the acting EFCC chairman, Chuko. And some more stories here. We've commenced review of Cybercrimes Act 2015, NSA. 2023 elections, Adamu refused to support Tinubu, APC candidates financially. Lukman alleges reps to intervene in NFF Falcons dispute ahead of World Cup. Tinubu class of 1999 governors meet in Aso Rock. And we take one or two stories before we move to another paper. Tinubu seeks rep approval of 500 billion naira for subsidy palliatives. And finally, activist Lawal writes open letter to Tinubu, seeks youth integration in governance.
All right, over to the Daily Trust newspaper. Tinubu's government repays $500 million Euro bond borrowed by Jonathan. Is one of the major stories. Subsidy. I know Nigerians are suffering, but relief is on the way. That's according to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We'll work with you to foster peace in Kwara, Emir tells Onijagbo, who is feeling plateau crisis, is a Nigeria daily piece out of the Daily Trust newspaper. Work to end headers farmers crisis. Nasarawa local government chair charges committee. More stories out of the Daily Trust. NLA urges Tinubu to appoint librarians as senior aides. Autumn to Atiku, your first presidential candidate rejected by own party. Semenya says justice has spoken after ECHR ruling. Will work with you to foster peace. Already took that one. Kogi governorship court dismisses Adiyemi's suit against Ododo. Delta APC congratulates Tinubu on ECOWAS chairmanship. APC didn't fund Tinubu's campaign. Vice Chair Napoli president sets 172 billion naira price tag on Osimhen. And lastly, Tinubu, I never knew I would be president.
All right, moving to the Punch newspaper. Boards Obi kicks as Tinubu offers opposition governors shots. And slots, I beg your pardon. Some more stories. Nigeria redeems $500 million bond despite revenue challenges. Army chief orders IPOB raid, rubbishes amnesty for bandits. We move on to the major story on the Punch. NLC protests Tinubu's 500 billion naira subsidy palliative, demands 300% pay rise. Rep sits on 500 billion naira subsidy relief request today. Federal government labor for fresh negotiations. And some more riders, 500 billion naira not enough for 125 million poor Nigerians affected by deregulation. NLC TUC. No Nigerian child should lack education. That's away from the major story. Malala tells federal government. Reps probe contract fraud, revenue leakages in Nimasa. So the red corner on the Punch. House to investigate 14-year power outage in Ondo communities. After Obasanjo's revelation, Atiku can't label me corrupt. Autumn. And some more stories. Detention court rules on Emefiele's case today. Students no longer believe they can pass without cheating. Youth psychologists. Amechi doesn't merit Rivers ministerial slot, says APC chieftain. That's the much we can take from the Punch.
Right over to the Premium Times newspaper. Subsidy removal. Tinubu rides reps. Seeks 500 billion naira for palliatives. Major story. NECO releases 2023 Common Entrance Examination results. Family 4 to others killed in Enugu road crash. Senate probes NNPCL subsidy regime. Forbes 2023 index. Dangote is still Africa's richest man for 12th consecutive year. Tinubu writes Senate seeks confirmation of service chiefs. Gunmen abduct Catholic priest, 3 others in Ebonyi. Insecurity. Zamfara Plateau governors visit CDS, call for more troops in states. Zamfara, no amnesty for bandits, terrorists, Lagbaja. Again, reps move to extend validity of UTME results. We will put measures in place to address plateau crisis. Okay, Senate to probe corruption allegation in eyepiece. Election Tribunal Appeal Court needs more than statutory 60 days to rule. Judge. Senate congratulates Tinubu on emergence as ECOWAS chairman. And lastly, police kill 2 suspected kidnappers, rescue victim in Anambra. Official.
All right, so moving to the Nation newspaper. First story, the G7 leaders of Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan and the United Kingdom and the United States have unveiled their next move against Russia. Amnesty for bandits, terrorists have failed, says COAS. Ladoja takes on Makinde Olubajo Obas over stool. CBN directs payment of dollar receipts in Naira. Vandals remove fitting on second Niger bridge. Nigeria fully redeems $500 million euro bond. So the major story, Tinubu remedy for subsidy withdrawal hardship soon. President asks lawmakers to approve 500 billion naira palliative cash. Investors' confidence now boosted, says NGX. Federal government states to partner on electricity. And some more stories, Akume in renewed hope drive. CBN directs payment of dollar receipts. I think I've taken that before. And this one says, Army rules out amnesty for bandits, terrorists. Naira records marginal gain to 782 Naira to a dollar in official market. Roll call, class of 99 governors alive, dead. Skeet maker, Trinity guy to remain in custody for over 50 days. Still on the Nation, we're not as rich as being projected. Speaker Abbas. And some more stories. You can find a photo on the Nation. Tinubu meets class of 1999 governors.
Some stories from the Guardian newspaper now. Tough times for students, parents as schools hike fees by 200%. Major piece there out of the Guardian. Tinubu writes reps for 500 billion naira to cushion subsidy removal impacts. Amid $1 billion legacy debts, Nigeria pushes for $12 billion revenue, 10 gas FIDs. Ladoja takes Makinde, Olubadan, 10 others to court over Ibadan chieftaincy law review. Vandal still second Niger bridge fittings is another headline there. From the Guardian newspaper, takes a Morehouse seeks respite for Ondo communities in blackout for 14 years. World Food Program to assist vulnerable Nigerians affected by man-made disasters in Cameroon. A couple more before we go on a break. Customs CG seeks security support in border. Reps urges deployment of security personnel to coastal areas in Akwa Ibom. Brigadier General Woko takes over command at Army Intelligence School. Some of the major headlines coming out of the newspapers this morning. We'll take some commercials. When we come back, we'll be delving into the analysis. Stay with us.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
Do you know who I am? Sure. You know, ask question. I be Tornado, a force of nature, the long-range assassin, the MVP, the intercept, the hat-trick architect.
Nobody does it better.
I am the breathtaking, game-changing left corner cannonball.
Fantastic goal!
So, make you sabi my name, because from the field to your feet, to the Hall of Fame, the game where you know fit miss, one shelle like this so. Know her name, know her game. Stream the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup live from SuperSport on Showmax Pro.
tí nine mobile network naija gangan bá jẹ́ àyò rẹ̀ èrè ńlá ń dúró dè ọ́ nígbàkúgbà tí o bá nílò dátà sí láti wo sinimá tàbí gba oríṣiríṣi àjàbalẹ̀ eré ìdárayá nine mobile wà fún ọ pẹ̀lú 1,500 naira péré wàá jẹ ìgbádùn 8 gigabyte látọ̀dọ̀ nine mobile o tún lè fi 9.5 gigabyte ṣe ìfàjẹ pẹ̀lú 2,000 naira péré àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ darapọ̀ mọ́ nine mobile lónìí tàbí kí o tẹ star 301 hash láti yan dátà olówó pọ́kú tí ó ṣe gbẹ́kẹ̀lé nine mobile wà níbí fún ọ wà níbí fún Naija.
Titi, I'm leaving now. Make sure you use this hypo bleach sachet to wash all the clothes, clean the bathroom, mop the floors, and
Mommy, one sachet for all this plenty work?
Yes, sir. Introducing the Hypo Bleach 200 ml bigger sachet. The bigger sachet you've been waiting for. Now you can do more disinfecting, whitening, and cleaning for just 100 naira.
Bigger 200 ml hypo sachet to do more housework.
It's here again! Christ Apostolic Church Okeado DCC Headquarters presents Oso Summit 2023, a yearly power revival that surely the Lord is in this place and I knew it not. Genesis chapter 28 verse 16b, coming up from the 15th June to 28th July 2023 by 5 p.m. daily at the church auditorium, where great ministers of God like Prophet Oluwalonimi Ojo David, Prophet Kehinde Adio from Lagos, Prophet Dr. Samuel Olukosi from Ofa, and the General Evangelist of Christ Apostolic Church Nigeria and overseas, Prophet Ezekiah Oluboyo Oladeji, shall be ministering to all and sundry through the power of the Lord Jesus Christ. Are you downcast? Are your business is not moving forward? Your children are not breaking through? Pastor Dr. G.S. Dada de Okeado DCC Superintendent says, come and you shall truly and surely be liberated. Pastor Eso Oladele, President CS Nigeria and overseas. Jesus Christ is the Lord. Is the Lord. Is the Lord.
John, what's up? Check your phone. I just send you Momo referral.
My mama don't run that one for me since now. Me self I dey find who I go refer make a quick hammer my million.
Hey! You too fit be one of the 12 millionaires for the Momo Refer and Win promo. To win, dial star 671 hash to sharply open your Momo account and select option 6 to refer family and friends them. After that, make sure say them open Momo account and use and recharge airtime or data at least 100 naira. Chicken, the more people where you refer, the more you go win. If you not see out of 12 million naira every week, you fit chop out of 25 million naira.
Momo Refer and Win promo. The more you refer, the more you win. Promo go run from June 15 till August 9, 2023. Terms and conditions they shall.
Get ready for an African cinematic extravaganza like never before on Africa Magic. After 30 years, Ripples is back. Ripples, the new generation, showing Wednesdays at 9 p.m. on Africa Magic Showcase.
You don't know me. You don't know my story.
Discover the truth in the hidden, showing Sundays at 8:30 p.m. on Africa Magic Showcase, followed by Crime and Justice Lagos at 9 p.m. Will Shaka Zulu become king in Shaka Ilembe? Showing Sundays at 10 p.m. on Africa Magic Urban and Showcase. Experience love unfolding in the new dating reality show, What Will People Say? Every Friday at 9 p.m. on Africa Magic Showcase and Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. on Africa Magic Urban. Stay connected to DSTV for the best local stories the way you like it. Only on Africa Magic. DSTV. It's your moment.
I'm living the life cause I get to
Yes. Kọ́ńbù ẹ̀kú àlejò emú gbòǹgbò ọ̀nà ẹ̀kú àlejò ẹsẹ̀. Ìbàdàn nílé Olúyọ̀lé ẹ̀kú àmójúbà Tizeti Network Limited pẹ̀lú Tizeti ìlò omi òjò lẹ́ẹ̀ máa lo ayélujára íńtánẹ́ẹ̀tì ní yàwàlù torí pé gbajúgbajà ní iléeṣẹ́ Tizeti Network Limited nídìí ìpèsè ayélujára lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà fún iléeṣẹ́ ńláńlá àti olókoòwò kéékèèké lábẹ́ àbúradà Tizeti ẹ lè browse kẹ́ stream kẹ́ sì tún gbá géèmù bó ṣe wù yín láì níkọ̀sẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ìlànà ẹgbẹ̀lẹ́mùkú data kèé máa ṣeré ìwọ ni kó o má sọ̀fànù 12,500 naira péré lẹ́ẹ̀fì jẹ mùlá data fódìdí oṣù kan gbáko lábẹ́ àbúradà Tizeti láì níkọ̀sẹ̀ ẹ kàn sí wifi.com.ng/oyo ẹ sì lè pe 0122987886 tàbí kẹ́ ẹ tẹ àtẹ̀jíṣẹ́ sí internet@wifi.com.ng ayélujára ní yàwàlù.
32 FM 94.9.
All right, it's great to have you back with us. 32 FM 94.9, the Break It On pay-per-view. My name is Kenny Dorotsilu.
And I am DENIKE Ademuago. We have Professor Oluojedokun in the studios to, of course, dive into the analysis with us. Good morning, Prof.
Yes, top of the day to you.
All right, we just start off from our dearly beloved city, Ibadan. According to this from The Nation, Ladoja takes on Makinde Olubadan Obas over stool. Do you have a perspective on this particular matter?
You have to recall that the late Ajimobi, of beloved memory, actually appointed 21 Obas, and that saga started then. And the whole idea was that many of these people would never have an opportunity to become Obas because it's by promotion from the mortgagee, and it takes years and years. And by the time they get to become Olubadan, they're actually quite old, and so they never have that chance. And of course, what Ajimobi wanted to do was to modernize the institution, bring it in line with other Yoruba towns where, you understand, they had opportunities to have many more kings or many more monarchs, as the case might be. Ibadan is one of the Ibadan, in fact, the largest Yoruba town that is, apart from, of course, Lagos, which is a commercial capital. And the argument was that how can Ibadan just have one monarch and that's it? You know, in a city that has millions and millions. So what this present governor has done is to revise it. The law, of course, has been changed to accommodate the fact that they lost in court the last time Ajimobi decision was overturned. So they've tried to tighten the law. But Governor Rashid Ladoja, call him governor because he was a governor before, is against it. His own view is that those that are in Olubadan Council, that are next to Olubadan, the only aspiration that they have is to be Olubadan, king of Ibadan, and not any other place. And the argument has been they will still be king of Ibadan at some point if they, if the king passes out. Yes, if they wait it out. But that in the meantime, at least there'll be a king in their lifetime. And it's not just every mortgagee or everybody on the line. It's particular people, those in Olubadan in council, from that point of view. And the difference this time is that the consenting authority being Olubadan of Ibadan, you understand, was the one that they used to make the proposal. So he made the proposal to the government, and on the basis of that, the government consented, the government agreed, and of course appointed that. And so that's the key difference. The Olubadan this time has been involved. Remember, the Olubadan too was made a king under Ajimobi, was one of the 21 Obas that was nullified. So let's see, we have Ladoja. He's going to test it in court. He's obviously unhappy with it.
Do you think they have a formidable argument? I'm talking about the Ladoja camp now.
I'm not so sure because, you see, the law has been amended. I think traditionally, you understand, it probably has a powerful argument. But legally, does he have a powerful argument? I'm not sure. And what he's asking for, in effect, even though it's not spelled out, is a judicial review to see whether the government, used the right process. The government really can do anything. But in doing anything, you have to follow due process and go through the right procedure. And I think that's what they will be challenging. That's my speculation.
All right, let's take another story. Tinubu's government repays $500 million Eurobond borrowed by Jonathan. It's the headline out of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. It's a different headline as to the ones we get usually, incurred debts here and there. But this is being credited to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government.
I guess every dark cloud has a silver lining, and that's the silver lining there. It shows you that we have the capacity, if we put our mind to it, to pay our debts. That's what it shows. But also, what it also shows, you understand, is that we still have a long way to go, because that is just one debt out of so much that we owe. But I think the government now needs to be focused on its spending, focus on its expenditure, both recurrent and capital, and prioritize that which is important. At the moment, a lot of people would argue that we're not doing that yet. But some will also say, give this man some time.
Right. Just along those lines, let's squeeze this one in as well. Tinubu writes reps for 500 billion naira to cushion subsidy removal impacts. I also saw another story out of the Daily Post, I believe, talking about Ondo State, and they're just exploring strategies to curtail the effects, elevate the hardships of the people as regards the fuel subsidy removal and all of that. And you begin to wonder, just exploring at this time, why just now? Why are we just guessing all of this just happening at this time?
Well, first and foremost, we've been waiting. People have been waiting. This is the fourth week we're entering into. And they've been waiting, really, for the palliatives, and of course. And you have to remember that under Buhari, there was this 800 million that was borrowed. You understand?
Right.
800 million. And I think that, there's a connection, there's a nexus. Of course, that 800 million that was requested may have expired in short because we have a new administration, new National Assembly. But I think the money still remains to be appropriated. And I think what they've now done is they've now reduced it rather than the 800 million to 500 million. And they're doing it now because people are suffering. They're doing it now because people are crying, lamenting. And they're doing it now because if you pump money to the economy at this stage, the economy has contracted because people are not spending, and people are not spending because they have no money. If you bring palliatives into the economy, it expands it. Money, brings money. How do I explain that? You see, people will spend, small businesses will pick up. You understand? They'll pay some taxes. People will have some wealth. You understand? And therefore, money circulates, and therefore, it attracts also more wealth. So there's some sense in doing that. The question is, can we afford it? You understand?
But the concern as well, Prof, is are they acting fast enough, considering that people are going through the effects already?
His own argument, and we have to be fair to him, is that he doesn't want it to get into the wrong hands, and that's why it's delayed. In the past, we've had palliatives, and and I know, that a lot of these palliatives did not get to the poorest of the poor. They were stored or they were warehoused, you understand? And a lot of the times, they were then used during elections, you understand, to induce votes. So I think if it is true that he wants to get it right, and absolutely right, then I think we should just give him a little more time, you understand? Well, you may say that I can say that because I'm a bit more comfortable than others, but the people on the street will not agree with me. But I think it's better we get it right than it goes to the wrong quarters.
Of course, still speaking on palliatives and subsidy removal impacts, there's a major headline on the Punch that says NLC protests Tinubu's 500 billion naira subsidy. Palliative demands 300% pay rise. Now, NLC is saying it is better to have a 300% pay rise because, like you said, how do we track that the palliatives are going to get to the appropriate quarters? Is it not better to, just increase the workers' salaries, repair refineries, employ all of those things? So what would you rather do? Do you think a pay rise will go a longer way than palliatives, in which most cases these palliatives, they're just conduit pipes, so to speak?
I think a blend of both, but NLC should change its record. A blend of both. Why? Because it's already been stated, it's established, and when you increase salaries on that scale, you're going to get inflation. We have an high inflationary economy at this stage. My own view is that do it through the tax system. But the argument of the tax system, what I mean is that our tax allowance is about 30,000 now. Increase it to 50,000 or more, which means you pay less tax and there's more money in your hands. Having said that, you understand, you have people that don't pay tax at all, so it doesn't affect them. Those are the people, then you can use the blend of palliatives that it reaches them. But the ones above that pay tax expand, you understand, the people that will pay less tax.
How much tax can the people pay? Because a lot of people are starting to complain. Is it a matter of something we're not so used to, this tax payment system, or are we going to pay tax to the extent where people's backs are going to break?
No, won't be you pay tax. What you would do is that you would increase the allowance, and what that means essentially is that you will have to earn maybe 70,000 naira or 500 or 50,000 naira before you even begin to pay tax. And also the other point that I've made that the government has taken up is that VAT on some items should be zero VAT, and extend the VAT in items which the rich are more likely to buy. The luxury items, luxury cars, you understand, the fancy restaurants, you understand, and so on and so forth, you understand, the Brazilian air, and so on and so forth from that point of view. But the things that the poor, patronize, buy, reduce the VAT on them, or remove the VAT. That means there will be more money in the hands of people and hopefully reduce the price of some item. So I think rather than just go full swing into increasing salaries 300%.
Or going full swing on palliatives.
Oh, yes.
Because we have a track record. We have a very serious track record from the school feeding program to COVID-19 palliatives. What did we do with any of those things?
Well, under the government of Buhari, of course, we failed miserably when it came to getting the palliatives out. And that's why I think this government is thinking about it carefully. And I think we might see some innovation. So the palliatives that are given must be innovative, use a blend of measures, and don't just stick to one. You understand, from that point of view. So, yes, you're right to raise the question, and I think the government will consider it. Not that I'm a spokesman for the government.
All right, the Chief of Army Staff, Major General Tarid Lagbaja, has dismissed amnesty pleas for bandits and terrorists. Lagbaja said the amnesty program has failed to achieve its purpose in the past, adding that it gives criminals opportunity to regroup and attack defenseless citizens. Prof, I'm sure you agree with the new man here.
I think it's taking amnesty face value. Amnesty fails when there's no context. Amnesty exists within a context. What do I mean? In South Africa, you had an amnesty program, but it was within a context. Carrot and stick. You had it in Niger Delta. It was within a context, carrot and stick, which means you still have your strategies to deal with them, absolutely. Right. Then you have an amnesty in place for those who give up their arms, you understand, and have a way to rehabilitate them. You do not do amnesty from a position of weakness. We are weak so far now in our military strategy. Therefore, if we do amnesty of any sort, you understand, it's going to fail. And that's what has happened under the administration of Muhammadu Buhari. Amnesty has been pursued from a position of weakness. And that's why Lagbaja appears to be correct. But you cannot just say totally that amnesty doesn't work. No, sometimes, in fact, history has proven that it works, but it must be applied correctly. It must be applied within the proper context.
It boggles my mind sometimes when we have this in conversation. How do we even start to talk about, amnesty for bandits and, people like these? How did we get here where we're having to debate something like this that makes common sense?
Amnesty sometimes means surrender. The reason why people are talking about amnesty is because we've been overwhelmed by banditry, by terrorism, and all kinds of maimings and killings. So people say, oh, what can we do? Let's just give up and give them amnesty. If we forgive them, maybe they will stop it. No, it emboldens them, it encourages them, and it causes them to do more havoc.
All right, news here says reps call for extension of validity of JAMB result. Now, we've had JAMB in the news because of the Mesoma drama and all of that. The House of Representatives have urged the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board to extend the validity of UTME results for 3 years. Now, there are this argument. I feel like it's not the first time we've had this argument. People should not be writing these exams every year. That's one side of the argument. Another side of the argument is if they don't write the exam every year, how does the system, the JAMB system run? How a salary is going to be paid? How do they generate revenue, and how does that come back into society? So what is your idea here? Do you think this is something that can fly? Because according to the House of Rep, we have incessant strikes embarked upon by ASU, which leads to loss of complete academic calendar. So if there's a 3-year validity, at least people are not going to be, paying these monies all the time.
I think they're making the wrong argument. Let's just go back a step. Before 1973 or 74, there was no JAM or anything. Various universities, the few universities we had, conducted their exams. Bob's your uncle. If you passed, you went to those universities. That's what we did. Then all of a sudden, we started with this JAM. There were about 6 or 7 universities, and it wasn't unreasonable then because there were not that many. And now we have how many universities? 100 and something universities, and then we have a nation of over 200 million. I don't know how many people take the JAM, and we've centralized admission process. I think the whole JAM thing, in my view, should be scrapped. Allow universities themselves, or allow local regions themselves to set up their own examination bodies for the admission into universities. Let's decentralize JAM. Let's allow those various bodies to cater for the students according to their needs. The 3-year validity is neither here nor there. You will ask the question, you understand? I know the argument, GCSEs, you can go on forever with GCSEs, almost, you understand? So if you can go on, why don't you go for JAM? The point is that JAM is supposed to be admission of a particular year, and it's supposed to be tailored to how many people are pursuing admission in that year. And so it's specific. Whereas GCS is a lifetime achievement, not specific to university admission or any sort.
All right, we're going to break now. When we return, we'll be opening the phone lines to take your reactions. Do stay with us.
Feel better about your life.
32 FM, 94.9, the antidote to depression.
Get ready for an African cinematic extravaganza like never before on Africa Magic. After 30 years, Ripples is back. Ripples, the new generation, showing Wednesdays at 9 p.m. on Africa Magic Showcase.
You don't know me. You don't know my story.
Discover the truth in the hidden, showing Sundays at 8:30 p.m. on Africa Magic Showcase, followed by Crime and Justice Lagos at 9 p.m. Will Shaka Zulu become king in Shaka Ilembe? Showing Sundays at 10 p.m. on Africa Magic Urban and Showcase. Experience love unfolding in the new dating reality show. What Will People Say? Every Friday at 9 p.m. on Africa Magic Showcase and Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. on Africa Magic Urban. Stay connected to DSTV for the best local stories the way you like it. Only on Africa Magic. DSTV. It's your moment.
Tí o bá wà lórí nẹ́tíwọ́ọ̀kì àrídájú, ìyẹn Naija Confirm wo ẹ̀bùn ₦1,000 ń dúró dè ọ́. O tún ní àǹfààní láti gba èlé $500 lórí èyíkéyìí rìsáàjì tí o bá ṣe. Àníkún dátà lọ́nà 100 fún oṣù 6 àti ìlọ́po méjì dátà lórí rìsáàjì àkọ́kọ́ rẹ ní oṣù òpó. Ìyẹn gangan ni Nine Confirm látọ̀dọ̀ Nine Mobile tí ó yọrantí. Ra síìmù tuntun lónìí tàbí kí o tẹ *1400# lórí ẹ̀rọ alágbèéká rẹ. Nine Mobile wà níbí fún ọ, wà níbí fún Naija.
Drink that, don't go for it. Yeah. Life na highway, me I just stay for my lane. Full speed ahead, oh, no limit in my way. God don't make them my back, nourishment to give me spark. So I go shine my shine and I will go for it. Go, go, no limits, go for it. Go, go, drink that, don't go for it.
Hooray! It is summertime.
The wheels on the bus go round and round.
As we know that all work and no play makes Chaka dull boy, all parents and guardians are therefore enjoined to engage their kids gainfully this summertime at All Joy Montessori School, put in place for age group of 2 years to 10 years. Oh yes, this year's All Joy Montessori Kids Summertime Package includes phonics and reading, handwriting, Yoruba, mathematics, etiquette and manners, arts and crafts, swimming, coding and robotics, beginning from Monday, August 7 to Friday, September 7, 2023 at the school premises Oba Olagbegi Street, Oshotoko Avenue, Old Bodija, Ibadan. Hurry now and register for just 10,000 naira per child before July 25, 2023. You can as well enroll your child into crèche, nursery and grade classes at All Joy Montessori School. For inquiries, please call 0807 550 6855. All Joy Montessori Summer Kids Time for your kids to be happily occupied.
Titi, I'm leaving now. Make sure you use this hypo bleach sachet to wash all the clothes, clean the bathroom, mop the floors, and
Mommy, one sachet for all this plenty work?
Yes, sir. Introducing the Hypo Bleach 200 ml bigger sachet. The bigger sachet you've been waiting for. Now you can do more disinfecting, whitening, and cleaning for just 100 naira.
Bigger 200 ml hypo sachet to do more housework.
Naija people with the yarn better tori abeg.
Man like Osimhen, Baba just dey chop Italian league like Oha. Chelsea want am, Man you dey wait, even Mourinho dey hate. Come off it.
No one tells a story like we do. Stream live football, local and international shows on Showmax, Africa's original streaming service. Sign up at showmax.com.
32 FM 94.9.
All right, we open the phone lines 0705 5000 949 and 0809 7949 to share your thoughts as regards any of the stories this morning. And of course, we're live on Facebook. It is 32FM 949 Ibadan, as well as YouTube 32FM 949 Ibadan. All right, we'll just take a look at some of the comments on our Facebook page and after this call.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, sir. What's your name?
Hello, good morning.
All right, can you speak up a bit? We're struggling to hear you. All right, go ahead.
Now, I just want to talk about the proposed price by the labor union. Now, instead of asking for more pay, I will just advise them that, okay, they should ask for the reduction in the money being taken by the politicians generally. Now, the government should now channel such money to provision of healthcare facilities and other things for certain set of people. For instance, now, children below age of 10, they should be given free healthcare services. The elderly, 60 upwards, they should be given free healthcare services, free transport and the like. That will reduce the number of dependents on the working class. Are we getting it? Instead of asking for more pay, they should go and strike for the sake of that one. They should force the government to reduce the money being taken by the politicians. That should be the best thing. Instead of forcing the government to say that let us increase the money. At the end of the day, if the salaries are increased, the money you are going to spend on your dependents will also increase.
Okay.
They should force the government to do that. May God help us.
All right, thank you very much. Prof, do you want to react to the suggestion?
Well, my own view, you understand, irrespective of what has been said, is that the best way and the most effective way, at least for those who are in jobs, is just simply tinker with the tax allowances. It brings more money into the pockets of people. Then you can now tailor the palliatives to those who are out on the informal sector, from that point. And people should bear in mind that if there's more money in the pockets of people, they are going to spend more money, and therefore those that are selling, retailers, will also make more money.
All right, 0705 5949 and 0809 7949. Okediron Babatunde on Facebook says, amnesty for criminals, amnesty for political looters, amnesty for bandits, amnesty for pipeline vandals. In all these, what is the message to law-abiding citizens? And as Okediron Babatunde continues, it is clear that Nigerians are not finding it easy. Post-subsidy is gone. This is new government. Hopefully, this government will do things differently. Let us see the implementation of palliatives this government is planning to give Nigerians. Implementation is the key. Our House of Representatives should go and amend the law concerning JAM. If that is the key issue bothering the country now, PBAT said he would stop funding councils while they are proposing 3 years validity. Any correlation? House of Reps should address welfare of Nigerians. Post-subsidy is gone. All right, 0705 5949 and 0809 7949.
Okay, Prof, let's have you react to this particular one out of The Guardian. It says, tough times for students, parents, schools hike fees by 200%. Hard times for students. Now, we hear that the nation's federal and state universities have increased their fees by over 200%.
Yes, it's not just the government schools, even the private schools are increasing their fees. And I think the reason why they're increasing their fees because the cost of living has gone up. And of course, they have to meet some of the need for research, the lecturer salary, allowances, food, catering, and so on and so forth. So, of course, it's hard times. But the expectation is that the government will respond and that such things as the palliatives, tax incentives, and so on will help parents that are going through much at this time. I fear that some people may have to drop out because of this, and I think it would be rather unfortunate if deserving people drop out. Now is the time now for people to begin to consider government creative. There's the loans are in place, but beyond that, scholarships of some sort, so that those that are well deserving will not be left out because of increased costs from various universities and institutions.
So is that the bye-bye to the subsidy in quote of education, especially at the federal level?
Well, I don't think it's bye-bye entirely, but I suspect that when the loan comes in full swings and if it works, that it will be an opportunity for the federal government, you understand, to remove the entire subsidy on education. Ill-advised in my view, but that's what they will do because they would argue that if you can't afford it, go and get a loan.
All right, Prof, let's also have you react to the meeting between the president and the 1999
class of governors
and all of that. What do you have to say? What do you think might have been going on as regards this meeting?
I think, some of us have been urging this president to have a government of all talents. And you don't have to be in government, you understand, to be in government or to contribute to the government. And I think he sees them as a resource. He sees them as people who have experience. And I think he's finding a way to use their experience to tap into it. But some people would argue that the president has a lot of time. That's why he's meeting them. I think he can meet as many people as he wants. What we want is better governance. What we want is a better life. And if he gets valuable advice from them, irrespective of their political coloration, it shows that he's prepared to go outside his party into the nation and to be president of the entire nation, not just of the APC.
All right, on Facebook, Omotayo Oluwarotimi writes, so I think the war with Russia will end. All the money spent on weapons could be spent in other areas. America should try and understand Putin's point of view. Okay, thank you for this one. He also continues to let them think of making Ibadan a very modern city rather than thinking of making Mogaji kings, etc. All right, thank you for that one. 0705 5949 0809 7949. Suleiman Sharif, good morning, 32 FM crew. Regarding to Babaladoja dragging Makinde Olubadan to courts, Governor Shea Makinde has said it before. He said, I quote, majority will have, okay, the same minority will have their way. He who, okay, I'm struggling to understand this one. He who is not satisfied should go to court to seek redress. All right, thank you for that one.
All right, 0705 5949 and 0809 7949. Raja Hafiz Abiola says, good morning, Kenny and DENIKE. About repayment of Eurobond $500 million loan. It's a welcome development if this government can pay one of Nigerians' loan in the space of a few months. Good morning.
My name is Ginga Mario, calling from Apata. Good morning, Professor.
Good morning.
Well, my point is, I'm not having issue with the president seeking for a loan of 500 billion naira. But my problem is, how will the money get to the common man? How will the money get to the circulation such that people will have a relief of the subsidy removal? That's what I'm particular about. Thank you very much.
All right. Prof, do you want to react to that?
Well, what can one say? You know, the government has to do something. People are suffering. You understand? And the savings, we're in a deficit. So they have to borrow if they're going to make a difference in terms of what is it called, palliatives. We don't have any money. So borrowing is the way to do it. And I think his concern is that we're piling on more debt as we go on 500. I think ultimately everything will equalize. As it's shown, the government can pay debt off. And if they prioritize right, they can pay debt off, irrespective, and do palliatives at the same time.
On final call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm going to speak in respect of the traditional overs.
What's your name, please?
Olukunle.
All right.
Yeah, they're supposed to borrow notes from Ogun State, especially Egba Kingdom system. The chief can never be a king. We have high chief, who some kings are under them in Ogun State. If they really look critically into that, there's no way you can just remove all the traditional chiefs from a king and tell you can't them a king. There are some high chiefs who have kings under them in Ogun State. Like some of them, like even let's say President Obasanjo, for example, is the Balogun of Owu and the Ekene of Egbaland. Egbaland is under the Alaki, and Owu is another kingdom who has a king. So each of the traditional chiefs come from different locations, and they are there. They have some kings who are under them. When you look at that Owu community, for example, you can still see many kings under that kingdom, and they are subject to some of the high chiefs.
All right, thank you very much. We have to go now. Thank you for joining us on the Papers Review this morning. Prof, thank you, sir, as well.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. The Smart Kids Show comes up next time at DENIKE.
And I'm Kenny Durosilu. Good morning.